I thought it'd be good to do a video on why I chose to stay natural as a bodybuilder and in my career as a bodybuilder. And, you know, a lot of people out there are always accusing this person of not being natural or this person being natural and this and that. And there's this big jealousy game going on. And, you know, the one thing I do find funny is that the people that are usually doing the accusing are people that are using drugs themselves, because they think that if they had to use drugs in order to achieve some sort of muscular gains, then everybody must have to, right? They're automatically assuming that their weakness is everybody else's, you know? So what I wanted to say is that I don't have a judgment against anybody that decides to risk their health for some muscles. If that's what they want to do, they're allowed and they're entitled. But I decided not to do this because I come from 2 generations of lifters. My father was a lifter and he was a policeman, and you know, right from an early age, I was watching the videos on don't use drugs and all the risks of drugs and all this kind of stuff. And steroids were in that same category. And I remember my father even telling me stories about going to powerlifting meets and, you know, guys, you know, deadlifting super heavyweight and then breaking, you know, things in half or tearing muscles from the bone and all this. And that scared the shit out of me, to tell you the truth. I was like, okay, I want to train and I want to be able to train, but I don't want to be dependent on some sort of drug. And then the minute that drug supply is up or my health goes, then I've lost my ability to work out, you know? Now, I understand that there are a lot of intricacies in that whole drug world, but I just didn't even want to get into it, because when I was 20 years old, I knew myself. You know, most 20-year-olds don't know themselves. Most 20-year-olds are just randomly just trying anything and who cares, throw caution into the wind. But myself, I knew that if I all of a sudden got extremely strong overnight with, you know, half the work, you know, or maybe the same amount of work, but I got, you know, triple the gains, triple the results, like I saw with people I knew in the gym that were openly using stuff, I knew right away that I would never be able to stop, because I also saw those guys, when they came off what they were doing, what would happen to them. They get depressed, their training would go down like this, and ultimately the physique that was so nice and pumped and looked all good, all of a sudden would just like look like shit. They'd all of a sudden look like they had never trained. It's like their hormone levels went all out of whack, even if they were doing the prescribed this drug to counteract that drug and, you know, all these types of things, right? So it was a lot of drama. It was a lot of drama, and I was like, I don't want any part of that, because I love training so much. I want to be able to train when I'm 70. I don't want to have to stop because I have to get a hip replacement, or maybe I got a, you know, colitis or some other organ problem that comes up with the different types of drug uses out there. And that's why I made the decision. It wasn't about judging anyone. It was about saying, I want to be able to train for the rest of my life, which is hard enough to do, to tell you the truth. I mean, life automatically throws you some curveballs. I mean, you're playing sports, you get injured like I have, and you may have car accidents or other types of traumas that happen in your life that prevent you from training the way you'd like. But ultimately, I didn't want to work against myself. I didn't want to consciously do something that might destroy an organ or cause a heart problem or something, right? Like, I knew guys in the gym, you know, that were 30 years old that doctors would tell them they had the heart of a 60-year-old man, you know. They're all, you know, strong as hell, but they look like they were going to explode from blood pressure at any one moment, right? So this is not my life. You know, I didn't want that. I want to understand the nature of the body. You know, my first priority was to understand the nature of the body, understand how to work with it, not against it, and understand how to get strength, but not rob my energy of the body from some other place where it needed it, you know. You know, whenever anybody takes a drug, what happens is that the body will automatically put all the resources to one area, but what area is it taking it from? You know, there's some area that's being sacrificed. Perhaps it's your kidney meridian and Chinese meridian, or perhaps it's your lung channel or your heart. There's something you're paying the price for. You are paying a price for that muscle. So healthy muscle is one thing, but once you start taking drugs and messing around with the equilibrium, the delicate balance of the body, then you could be in for trouble, you know. And some people have different resistances to trouble than others. You know, there are people that have smoked their whole life and no problem. You know, another person smokes for 5 years, gets lung cancer, right? So which person are you? I knew I was the person that if I did something wrong or something that upset the delicate balance, for a short period of time, it was very likely that I would be that one worst case scenario, and I didn't want to take a chance. There's no way. Yeah. So, you know, now looking back on it, now that I'm, you know, much older, I'm glad I didn't make that decision, because it's really short-sighted. It says, I want everything now, but who cares about the future? And the future is a lot longer than most young guys think. They think, oh, 30, oh, that's old, you know, I'll never be 30, you know, who cares about that? That's like ages from now. But it comes fast. It comes fast, and it comes faster than you think. And then one day you're in a hospital and you're wishing that you didn't make all these decisions that you did when you were 20, you know. So that's why I decided to stay natural. You know, I decided because I didn't want to take the risk, because the muscle wasn't worth it for me, because I valued what I had so much more than the prospect of maybe taking that risk and gaining a little bit more muscle. That it just wasn't worth it, you know. And that's actually why I started competing in natural bodybuilding. It wasn't because I had this intense urge to compete, you know, because like most people that age, I was kind of scared. I was like, oh, what if I lose? I'll look stupid, you know, that kind of thing. But why I started competing was that there was a polygraph test in the show that you had to take, and a urine test. And I decided to do the show to prove to people that I was natural, because I was always getting the whispers and the people saying this and that, you know, people that didn't really know me. They were assuming just because I had made muscular gains from training and eating that somehow there's no way I could be natural, right? Which is, again, it's ignorant. It's usually, these whispers are by the people that are drug addicted people, you know. They're the type of people that'll snort cocaine and do steroids and drink all weekend, you know. Like, these type of people are the type of people that are usually doing the accusing. So anyway, at that age, the ego is delicate, so I said I have to prove to these people I'm natural, and I started doing natural bodybuilding shows. And of course then people were saying, oh yeah, you can beat that test, you can beat this. And I'm like, well, okay, but I beat 15 of them, is that enough, you know? And so at some point you grow up and you forget about trying to prove anything to anyone, and you just keep on keeping on, right? So here I am, and at a much older age, still training, still saying the same thing I've been saying for 20-something years. And yeah, I just thought I'd share with you why I stayed natural, you know? I mean, there are a lot of stories. I have lots of stories. I mean, there's at least 50 different stories of people that I've seen go through the cycle of 2 years to 2 months to 5 years of doing whatever they're doing, and then before you know it, the health problem comes, you know. So I've watched this cycle over and over again. I've had the benefit of being in this game for so long that I've seen this cycle with so many guys. And most of the people that are making decisions about drug use are people that have been in the game for 5 years, maybe 3 years. They haven't had enough time to really see the cycle of what happens to a person in a person's body over 20 years, you know. And I've had the benefit of seeing that. And I also had a twin brother too. And him and I both, you know, would discuss what seemed like the right thing for us to do. And natural was the way we both wanted to do it, you know. Neither one of us wanted to take that step into that world because, you know, he was a very scientific minded guy, and now he's a naturopathic doctor, you know, a person that understands the nature of drugs and how they are useful in some circumstances for medical reasons. They're not something that you take as a quick fix, you know, because there is a delicate balance that you'll upset. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, why I stayed natural. You know, I stayed natural because I loved training so much. I want to be able to continue to do it, you know. I didn't want to be one of those horror stories where a guy's bench pressing and then breaks his humerus in half because he's handling weight way beyond what his poor little body can handle, you know. So anyway, I hope this helps some of you natural guys out there understand and stick to what it is that you feel is right for you. And for those of you out there that are using drugs, hey, I'm not against you. It's just that you understand, obviously, if you are doing so, that you're taking a risk with your health, and I hope that you're fine, you know, and maybe you will be, but I know that I'm just too much of a wimp to be able to take those types of risks, because I know, you know, whatever bad will happen to me, because my health was always a very delicate thing. I'm like a flower. So anyway, take care for now, and I'll see you again.